Hello. Hello. YouTube. Do you know, I can't believe I went onto my YouTube channel earlier just to post something um for a program that I'm doing. And I realized it's like a year ago almost when I last posted on YouTube. Fuck me, it has been a year and a half. And I just wanted to do a little update and just share a few things, like key things that I believe are really going to hopefully help anyone watching this, anyone who's felt guided to come and watch this video, because up until January, as we do, we are trying to remain consistent, we are trying to show up, but still listening to myself, but still ultimately being very, very conscious of being there and creating content and other things like that. But yeah, this year, I now realise it was the year of the snake. It was a year of endings. There were so many things that were completely blind to me that I had to really dig deep and heal into. And that's kind of what I want to share a little bit about what I've learned and what I've seen on this transformation journey. So if you're here watching me, you've either come through like the channels, right? The ones that are talking about the quantum financial reset and the off-worlders are going to come and save everybody and all of that jazz. Or you found me through like the healing journey. So what I wanted to share really is what I've found and what I'm experiencing is Earth, this Earth plane, this matrix, this whatever we're experiencing here, real, not dream, whatever it is, what we're experiencing in the state, it's we create it all from the inside of us, right? Whatever's going on inside of us is what we are experiencing on the outside in terms of what life is happening around us. So right, let's go to the truth, people, first. So, if you are waiting for somebody outside of you to come and fix you, heal you, change the system, the political system to crash, the financial system to change, um, aliens to drop out of the sky to come and save you, you're literally giving your power away. You are literally waiting for somebody to come and save you, and it's not gonna happen. It's not. Um, you are a super powerful, super divine being. You are a creator in your own right. So if you are still watching the channels, if you are still consuming all of that and waiting for something to happen, you're just going to be keep doing that, right? Because the only time something is going to change in your world is if you change your inside world. If you change what is going on in here, as within, so without, as above, so below, right? It's all your frequency and your vibration, you know? This isn't just spiritual woo-woo stuff, as I've always said. Check out the quantum science behind it. It's like massive quantum entanglement. Whatever we are a vibration to, we are attracting. So for those of you who get this and you're on your healing journey and you are leaning into some of those places, maybe money is a problem for you. Just like me, I would work a whole month, earn money, but by the end of the month, there was never an overflow. There was always just enough. That was my frequency. That was my signature inside of me, not to have an overflow. Didn't felt deserving of an overflow. I literally just always had just enough to get through the month. That was the vibration that I was at. That's what the being, that was the frequency that I was holding on to. And so that created meaning in my body, in my subconscious, and therefore that was exactly what I was experiencing out there in the world. And only when I allowed myself to really go to those places inside myself and feel what it felt, only then did that start to change. And then my outside world started to reflect it. Money would come from different places. And then there was an overflow each month. And then it increased and increased more. And everything changes from there, right? It has to start with us, first and foremost. So, what do I want to share with that? So it's interesting because so many times I hear people say, I've healed that, or I've been there, or I've done that. Well, do you know what? This time last year, I genuinely thought that I had like gone to some depths on my healing journey. I really, 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 truly thought that. And then the universe brought me an experience which reflected so much back to me. So when we are experiencing something, when we are experiencing other people, situations, places, whatever is going on in our lives, like even if somebody comes and robs your house, right? We can easily say, poor me, I'm a victim of that. They've come and done that to me. Yes, they have. But what part of you was a vibrational match to allow that into your experience? Yeah, and that's about taking radical responsibility for everything. And this is where we need to be if we're going to transform ourselves, if we're going to evolve, if we're going to go from the 3D to the 5D and fully be able to step into our power, if we're going to align to our soul selves and be able to evolve ourselves on this planet, we have to take radical responsibility for everything that we are seeing, experiencing, and all of the people that are in our world around us because we are creating it all. We are generating it all through our lens, through how we see the world, from how we perceive the world, and the context in how we are, from where we're standing, right? So, how can I explain that more? Two different people can go into the very same situation, but their experience of it would be very, very different because we all have different filters, because we have all experienced very, very different things in our childhood, in our lives, and in our past lives. So if we're not experiencing something that we like, something that has upset us, something that has made us feel bad, crappy, fearful, separate, whatever it is, we've got to take responsibility for it. Um, Can I elaborate on that anymore? So when, say for example, somebody comes into your life, right, and they treat you in not a very nice way, it's easy for you to go, yeah, okay, we'll put the boundaries up, let's walk away, da da da. It's their fault, they're a bad person. But guess what will happen? The universe will present you with another situation or another person that does exactly the same thing to you. Why? Because you are on your healing journey, and the universe is using that person to reflect to you something that is going on in your world, something that is going on in your vibration. And only when you allow yourself to go there and feel that and understand where that's coming from and lean into the emotion, allow it to move, allow it to unlock, allow it to transmute. Your emotions are your energy in motion. Your energy is everything, right? You are energy. And when we're holding on to these vibrations inside of ourselves, we are going to be constantly faced with people and situations that reflect exactly what's going on. So, for example, there was a time where there was a person in my world who treated me in a way, well, there's been quite a few actually in this past year, because there's been a lot of things that needed to be reflected to me. So there's been people and situations that have come into my world that have treated me in a way that I did not like, in a not a very nice way. And instead of me thinking, why have you done that? I'm blaming you, da da da, and all the rest of it. As humans, this is what we do. For me, I had that inquiry. What is it inside of me that is an energetic match for me believing that that is how I deserve to be treated? And I felt that. And then I was taken back to a child, right? To a child, to a young, young, young little girl, little Laura, to a young little Laura who had parents who were brilliant. As always, there's no blame, shame, or guilt or anything like that. Our parents always do the absolute best they can with what they've got, right? As humans, that's what we do. However, as a little girl, sometimes we don't understand as an adult, we don't have that adult perspective to understand a situation. So my dad was a very hardworking dad. he was brilliant. He provided for my family and he would go out to work and he'd work really, really hard and he'd be under lots of stress at work and he would come home. And when he came home, he did not want little children to be like nattering around him. So little Laura didn't have that opportunity to have a relationship with her dad because he was like, we had to leave dad alone. Dad had a lot on his plate at work. So dad was unavailable, completely emotionally unavailable, probably unavailable to my emotionally unavailable to my mum as well, because that was what the norm was, right? To me, he was completely and utterly emotionally unavailable. And not only that, there were times where he would shout, right? Of course, who doesn't shout? Again, no blame, shame, or guilt at all. But to a little tiny girl who saw this figure, this masculine in her world, who seemed okay, and she tiptoed around him because she didn't want to make him angry or upset. But every so often he would blow off, and that would be like a bomb of fear and fury and fire to the little girl. As an adult, you see somebody be angry, right? And you're like, oh, they're angry, they've had a bad day. To a young child, that anger is so much more, and it is absorbed by the child, and the child makes it mean something about them. So for me, that little girl, that little Laura, learn that A, she doesn't deserve the time or energy or attention from dad, from the masculine. She also learned that she must walk on eggshells. She must tiptoe around this man because if she doesn't, it's not safe. It's not safe because when the anger came, it was terrifying. It was like literally life or death. That's what a young child feels, right? Absolute terror in that moment. And I also made it mean that I have to do everything I can to please this masculine, to please this man, to make him happy. And I remember memories where my dad would like have um, aching shoulders and aching neck, and he'd really talk about wanting massages. So I'd be like, yes, I'll massage anything I can do. You know, I wanted to do anything I could to make him happy, to please him. He this memory made me laugh when it came back. So he used to get the Daily Mail paper, and the Daily Mail used to run competitions where they would give away a cottage, like a holiday cottage, and you'd get like scratch cards and I don't know if it was every day or every Saturday, you'd get numbers in the paper and you had to mark off these scratch cards. Now, my dad ended up getting like 50 scratch cards. He must have done a deal with the newsagent people. Um, and he wanted me to sit at the dining table and mark off all of these scratch cards, right? And it'd take me ages. So he asked me to do this, and this is what I would do for him. And obviously for me, I just wanted to do something to make him happy, to make him pleased with me, to give me some attention. Hello, yes, I'm your little girl. I'm just dying for some attention from you, daddy, you know? And so I'd sit there for ages. And then there was no winning, obviously, we never won. But then I took that on me. Like I was a disappointment because I could feel his disappointment in the scratch cards. So I could feel his disappointment in me. And it broke my heart to think that I was disappointing my dad. Like I didn't realize any of this consciously. This is what I've just realized in this past year, right? So what that meant for me, again, like I really didn't want to be a disappointment to the masculine. And then there's so much I've realized recently, honestly. It's like literally this year has excavated shit up from my childhood that I didn't even realize was there. So basically, what that showed me was it showed me that I've literally lived my entire life walking on eggshells around the masculine. I have literally lived my entire life trying to please, trying to bend myself to please, trying to do everything I can to make things better for them, to become the person that I think they hope me to be. And then all of that was going on. And then there was so like realization, so there's a mosquito. I'm gonna have to try and get this. I know it's not very love and light, but if anyone can tell me the positive benefit of mosquitoes, then I might change my idea on getting the fuckers. He's gone under the bed. But until anyone can tell me, like, what is the purpose of like mosquitoes being invented, I've got no idea. Anyway, so all of that's going on. And then there was another situation in my world as well, which basically I was just being felt like I was being treated incredibly unfairly, but also like I deserved it. It was like I was the one to be blamed because that's who I know myself to be. Because that's what happens. I just absorb it all. Like if anyone's got anything going on, I'm the one that gets the finger pointed at me, and I'm like, well, yeah, there's no point me just arguing it. Yeah, just blame me kind of thing. And I don't say that to be like, oh, poor me. But it was just who I knew myself to be. I was the one to make things better. I was the one to keep the peace. If there was a problem, let's just keep quiet and let's just let everyone believe what they want to believe. Let's not speak up for themselves because actually that was scary as well. The idea of me speaking up for myself was terrifying to me. I've literally only just realized this year. The first time I actually spoke up for myself took so it sounds ridiculous. But with certain people and certain situations, it took an immense amount of courage because, again, that little girl inside of me saw that it was not safe to speak up for herself. And so it was far more safer to just keep quiet and just keep absorbing and take the blame because the alternative wasn't actually safe. And of course, as an adult, yeah, of course it's safe because we're an adult now. But the child, there's mosquitoes back. If I jump out of my seat and you hear this clap, that's because it's in like clapping distance. Yeah, so that young child of me, the inner child that is literally running me on a subconscious level, 95% of everything we do is subconscious. Remember that, right? So that part of me did not feel safe to share my thoughts, my needs, to speak up for myself, any of that. So there's this other situation in my life where I'm just absorbing the blame, just taking it all. And that reflected something else, the dynamic with my older brother, of course, he was really loud. He took a lot of attention off my mum and dad. If there was anything that ever went wrong, he would shout and shout and shout and shout, and they would always believe him. I was the quiet one. But because he was the loud one who shouted a lot, they always believed him. But he was quite good with that as well, because he would convince himself of the story. And even though I'd seen what had happened and witnessed it, nobody wanted to listen to or believe me. But again, I probably didn't make my voice heard. So again, there's no blame or shame. And obviously, my brother was a kid, he was in that same dynamic I was, where he was fighting for attention. Um, dad was at work and he didn't have the time, and then he wanted my mum's attention when he come back because he needed to be looked after. His inner child was working with him as well. His inner child was wanting to be nurtured, wanted to be cared for, wanted the attention of his wife. But whilst the wife was giving the dad all the attention, so whilst mum's giving dad all the attention, older brother's desperate for attention off mum and dad. And so he's doing everything he can. And obviously, I'm like bottom of the pecking order, youngest one, who's just learnt to be just quiet, small, and all the rest of it, just to try and keep the peace because she's terrified of the arguing and everything else going on. So I just wanted to share some of that because again, it's a normal family dynamic, right? This is what happens, and this is like human experience. It's for everybody. But what I thought was a normal dynamic and what I thought was like a really normal childhood actually created some really insane programs that were running me, some really deep rooted patterns that were keeping me small, like keeping me stuck and keeping me massively from my power. And when I say power, I don't mean in that like sort of strong controlling, wanting to control people, but it's like I literally didn't feel like I had any personal power because it was like it wasn't even an option for me to create or to be successful or to speak or to be heard or to be seen or to be creative or to get attention or any of that. So I realized like I have literally given my power away in my entire life. And this has manifested again in so many different ways. How, Laura? Well, let's face it. I've been running a business, right? Self-employed. Yes, it's changed over the years because started off as a virtual assistant and then started off coaching women to start their own businesses and all the rest of it with massive potential, like super successful. Everyone I've worked with, it's like screaming from the rooftops about how well I've done for them and everything else, right? So I've like literally got massive potential, but every single time I just stay small and I stay quiet and I don't speak up and I don't share my success because that's who I've known myself to be the small one, to be the quiet one. Who am I to be successful? I'm not an important person to be successful. I don't deserve that. I deserve to be at the bottom of the pecking order. That's who I knew myself to be. The one at the bottom, the one who's here to serve everyone, the one who's here to make everything better for everybody else. Not a successful person. I don't have what it takes to be successful. That's what dad does. That's what my brother did. Not that he did, but through the eyes of a little girl, he was on the pedestal because he was older, right? And he got dad's attention. So he was the one who was better than me. So in my business, I've never been the one who's ever seen myself to be capable of creating success. It's just been insane, honestly. This stuff just runs through so deep, so deep. And we're not, and this is just talking this life, right? There's past lives, there's parallel lives. They're all playing out on different dimensions. There's so much going on. So basically, what my message is in this video is like, number one, hi. I know it's been a while, but you know what? Having gone through what I've gone through in this past year and learning what I've learned and the growth that I've experienced, I feel like now things are going to change. I believe that there's things for me to bring to the world and create to help people on the same journey as what I am, in that we're here for a reason, right? There's a sole purpose. There's a gift, a passion, an ability, a healing that you can bring to the world and help and support other people, right? We're creating the new earth, it's the golden age. We're all here to do something, it's not about the off-worlders doing it. We're kind of here doing it, right? We've got to do it ourselves. And this is a journey we've got to be on in order to be able to do that. And so I feel like now I've kind of like helped myself on that path a lot more. So I'm hoping to be a lot more visible to be able to help a lot more people. I've got a program um, being launched in January, but there's a free event on the 28th of December. So if you're watching this before the 28th of December, it's called Make It Real. Excuse me. So here on Earth, if you are on your healing journey and you're like, oh yeah, I'm doing all the right things, I'm doing the healing, and da, da, da. Here's the thing. Are you living a massively abundant life? Are you surrounded by loads of money? Because this is like one of the biggest clues as to whether or not you have worked on your worthiness enough. Because as a divine being of God's source, which you are incarnated on this earth at this time as a fractal of God's source energy, right? You are divine. You are incredibly worthy of receiving anything and everything that you want just for being you, just for being you, just for breathing, just for living. And the only thing that keeps us separate to all of the things that we want, all of the things that we want to experience, create, or what we want to receive, that we want to hold and have, is our belief system. Our entire belief system is like programmed into us as a child, right? Black, you've got to work for money. You've got to become this in order to get money. You kind of put money on a pedestal. This is how we're taught. Money's there. And you have to go to school and you have to train and you've got to become a professional. You've got to do this. And if you want to earn good money, then you've got to give up 6 years of your life to earn this. You've got to behave this way. You've got to learn these things. Forget all your passions, forget all your interests, forget all your creativity. Become this, and then you can earn money. Right? That's the system. That's the system. When we have worked on our worthiness and really gone deep into that, you start to see that entire dynamic shift. You start to see the universe like gifts you money in different ways, lots of different ways. When you work on your belief system, to know as well that even though you might be in a job, you might be in a 9 to 5, you might not be able to see a way moving forward where you can work with clients or start a business or do something that you love, whether or not that's being an artistic person or creating something or making food or anything at all. We've all, I firmly believe, just going off this, we've all got a passion, we've all got creativity, we've all got something unique to us that we can bring to the world to help others. And with the energy exchange, create an income from doing that, right? Obviously, you might not know what that is right now. The reason why you don't know what that is right now is because it's been absolutely programmed out of you, usually through school. But when we start to work on our worthiness and start to see ourselves and love ourselves and appreciate ourselves and get to know who we are on a soul level, these gifts start to come back to the surface, right? And we can start to use them. And we can start to really help and support other people and start to really shine our light out there. I've forgotten the message, the point I was making. I've got hair on my mouth. Um, yeah, so my question was, if you're on your healing journey and you're like, I've done enough. Well, actually, if you're not surrounded by an abundance of money, then you haven't. And you might be thinking, why is she talking about money? Is it all about money? Well, actually, money's just an energy. We're programmed to think that money is bad, that money is a problem. It's not. Why would it be? We live in a physical world. We live in a world where we need money to be able to buy food, right? To be able to survive. So, if you think, if anyone's got any thoughts around money, this is definitely something you need to think about because if you believe in God, source, universe, what kind of God, source, universe of love would put humans into a world of lack? Makes absolutely no sense. We are in an abundant world, and I mean abundant with everything. And it is just our belief systems which keep us small, which keep us in limitation, and which keep us in that same cycle of like trying to work to be this person that feels the need to earn money. But as soon as we work on our worthiness and our own value and bring that to the world, we realize that actually the value we bring, value equals money, right? So just being alive as a mum. You're making the food for your kids. You are just looking after their family, being that energetic support for your husband, being the therapist for every fucker in your life. The value you bring is immense. Money is value. And once we change that and shift that and we realize that actually, just because we're not getting paid for this, we're actually doing so much that we are bringing to the world. It's just a mindset shift, but also it's imperative that we work on our worthiness and the way that we feel about ourselves because I promise you, like there's so much work to do there. Like I say, unless you are living like an abundant life, if you're in a world where relationships are a problem and you keep attracting the same and you're like, oh, this person's an avoidant and an anxious attachment and and oh, stonewalling this. Honestly, I've learned all these fucking phrases this year and I didn't have a clue about this shit. But it's like, what is that showing you? What part of your frequency vibration believes that that is how you deserve to be treated? You can look at it that way, or the other inquiry that you can make is, how am I stonewalling myself? Or how am I avoiding myself? How am I avoiding my own emotions? You know, people say to me so often, they're disrespecting me. They don't have any respect for me. What part of you feels like you deserve to be disrespected? But also, how are you disrespecting yourself? Because life is a reflection. Everybody is a reflection of you. And it's a hard pill to swallow. Yes, it is. But it's an essential pill to swallow if you want to evolve yourself, if you want to transform your world, if you want to create more, if you want to connect to your higher self and you want to create this new earth. We've got to take these responsibilities now. Um, and you know what? I think I've covered everything that I want to say there. And I don't even know how long I've been talking. Probably far too long. But I'm just going to do a little light language transmission. So anybody who is in my Facebook group. I've been doing these weekly transmissions on a Sunday. So it's usually been UK time on at 7 o'clock. But because I'm in Thailand now for a few weeks, it'll be UK time 12 o'clock, noon, dinner time. So the first Sunday of the month, I do a light language activation. So anyone who's not heard of light language, um, we've all heard of Reiki. Sorry, I'm burping. Energy healing, folks. Sorry. So we've all heard of Reiki, right? So we channel God's source energy, it comes through the hands for healing. So the best way I've got to describe light language, or as I'm coining the phrase now, cosmic light codes, it's like the same frequency coming through the body, but just coming out as a language. And there's loads of different languages. It sounds really different. It's going to speak to your soul. So if you want to be activated, if you want to tap into your higher self, if you want your cells to sort of start waking up and start transforming and becoming the higher part of you, then this might really, really help you. Sometimes you might feel sensations in your body. You might feel hot, cold. You might see beings. You might get messages through. You might feel the energy coming up inside you. Often, when I do this, people do feel an activation themselves, almost like it's coming up from, for me, comes up from the womb and it comes up my body and out of my throat. Yeah, it's nothing to do with my mind. It's nothing that's coming through my head at all. It's coming up and it's coming out. So if you feel like an energy coming up your body, just allow it. If you feel like your body wants to move, your hands might move. This is light codes, right? We don't know what it is. And we don't need to know what it is. The human mind probably hasn't got the capacity to understand what it is. But these are the frequencies and the codes that are ready to come into the earth now and through us as channels. This is like what we're here to do. So if you feel like you want to jump into my Facebook group, please do that. Be amazing. I will stick the link in here. And I'm going to do a little channeling for any of you, my darlings, watching this. I did a video as well with Serena. I'm going to pop that onto my YouTube channel and in my group, I think. And I did a little podcast with Tracy too a couple of weeks ago. So I'm going to pop that in there. And I think I'm having a chat with a lady I met just recently called Gemma, all about menopause and perimenopause and like my beliefs around it and her beliefs around it. So that'll be cool. I think I'm going to be doing that this week. So I'll be here. Plenty of content for you to see. So yeah, with that being said, let me do a little light language transmission. So like I said, try not to get in your head. You don't need to understand what it is. Just be open to receive. And my intention is for you to receive what you need for your highest good, right? You might get some messages. You might not. Just trust that if there's anything that's ready to drop in for you, any activations, anything like that, just trust it's happening, right? Spirit is there. It's working with us. We need to sometimes let go of trying to control and not have all the answers and all that jazz. So yeah, let's just trust that it's all in order. The higher realms are just working their magic and just using us to do that. So with that, I just invite you to just close your eyes for me and just take some nice deep breaths into your body. And with each breath, just imagine that you're breathing in light from the universe around you. And with each breath out, just let go and release everything that you is not serving you. Just breathe in the light, let that come into your chest, into your heart space. And just let go of anything that's not serving you, anything you're ready to release. And I just invite your guides, galactics, light beings, angels, spirit guides, just to be with you now and support you through this transmission. And setting the intention for anybody watching to receive exactly what they need for their highest good today. And as I'm channeling the light language, I would just ask that you just keep your focus on your breath, breathing into the chest space, and setting your intention to be open to receiving what you need for your highest good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Koriano, oriano, koto koriana, kiato koria. Koriana, saki o koriono koriana. Hiana, iana, iaki otoko, ayo kari okorianiano. Hoyo no kosaki okotiano koto koto kosiki ariana io koria. Korio okasa kioto koria ioto koria iana orioto koria ki auto koria aya yotoria na kiata. Horio siki ayono koria. Horiana io koto kosi iatari ono koria. Hota kasiki otoko. Ko okori ori ono koria na kioto koria. Horia ni ano kosikiota. Hoariano ko ayato otorianea. Hoariano saka aya nio kotokosi. Hoariano kosaki ayanasa ayanasa ki otokotia. Hoarianasa ki oko ayania kioto. Horiano ko okotokoriana iadari okotokosi ayaniano kotia. Koriana sakiata. Ayaya oko okasiya nakari okoto. Horiana yaya tokosa yato koriana. Hoakia sakiata ayayaya ayano oyana iana. Hoakiato koriana siato koriana. Huariana yani okosi iatana oyokoria. Huakasikiana iana kasuko oriano koria sania. Hayana Koreana, Koto Osi Ayano Kota Sanio Korea. Hayano Horia Hoki Autokria Yatuko Okata Ariono Kosikiata. Hoyoko Okadio Kotario Kotoria Nananiato Korea. Heania Doria Siki Oria Nasiki Oria Siki Aurio Doria Naki Oto Casa Doria Niano Kotia. Hoyano Korea Kasiki Aya Siki Oto Kosikiata. Horiano Koreana Sikioto Okuriana Orio no Kosikiata. Hayona Kiato Kosa Iano Koreana. Koreano koto koreani o koreana kasiki oriana siki otoko. Horeano koto korea siki ariano kote kiata. Horeano o koreano orioto koto to toko ta kasikiata. Iana kia so koreano koto. Okay, so just take a nice deep breath for me. When you're ready, just open your eyes and come back to the here and now with me. The last thing I just wanted to finish on, if you've made it this far, is I've had a couple of conversations recently as well about what we are thinking about and putting our energy and attention on. Right, if you are on this journey of evolving and you know you are a spiritual being here in a human body, you also have the awareness that you are energy and everything is energy, right? You're a creator. You are made in the image of God. You have got what it takes inside of you, your frequency, your energy to create. Yeah, science is there. Jodie Spencer, right? Have a look. You've got it all inside of you. So if you are a person who is looking at the crap going on in the world, the wars, the suffering, the lack, the division, the fighting, the political crap, the financial crap, if you're a person who's putting your energy and attention on that stuff, why? Because you're just creating more of that. You are creating more of that. But Laura, I want to help these people. Yeah, so do I. But Laura, physical Laura, right here, right now, can't fly across the world and stop a war. It's not possible for me. But what I can do is be responsible for the frequency and vibration that I am putting out into the world, the intention that I'm putting out into the world, which is peace, love, joy, happiness, right? Our frequency, our energy field is immense. When I say we can put frequency out into the multiverse, we can do that. So why on earth would we be sat focusing on the shit that is going on in the world? Why would we do that? It makes absolutely no sense. Unless we can physically do something to actually help then why would we spend our energy and attention and talk about it? Yeah, it's not heartless. Trust me. The amount of times where people have said, "Oh, I feel bad because how can I be happy when there's so much suffering going on in the world?" Well, actually, it's your responsibility to be happy, to be bringing in the high frequencies, to be bringing in the joy, to be bringing in the compassion, to be bringing in the love. Because if we're not bringing this stuff in, then who is? The world's just going to get drowned by the fear that the TV's like pumping out and all of the energy weapons and the people fucking about with the weather and all the rest of it, right? We can't physically, the physical body can't actually do anything about that. And if you want to go protest and meet all of the other people at protest and you feel, do it. You've got to do what feels right for you. For me, I mean, I did do a protest. 2020. Remember what happened in 2020? I did a protest then, but I haven't since. Why? Because that is not the frequency and energy I want to be around. Not only that, I've found if I'm in a crowded place, I literally get really like lightheaded and my physical body can't really be with frequencies around like normal people anymore, which is a bit weird. Well, I'm starting to integrate it a lot more now, but there was at one point last year where honestly, like, I mean, I did pass out in a public place. Um, and they wanted to do all these tests on my head, and I kind of escaped from the hospital in case they found something, that's not quite right in my head. Um, Probably lots of things that aren't quite right in my head. But anyway, I'm going to leave that there. Just be aware of what you're thinking about, what you're putting your time and attention on, what you're talking about, and what you're consuming. Be really, 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 really responsible with what you are thinking about and how you are feeling because your feelings are everything. And if something is coming up in your life that is making you feel sad, miserable, fearful, depressed, anxious, whatever it is, it's there for a reason and it's there because it's ready to be healed. So feel, what is this? What is it trying to show me? How is it feeling? How is it making me feel? That's an amazing question to ask. How is this making me feel? And really allow yourself to feel it. The emotion is just there because it wants to be acknowledged. That's what we came here to learn. Well, not learn, experience. Because how can God's source know itself when it is all oneness and all good? There's no contrast and no experience. So, creation, incarnation, we get to experience. God gets to know itself. The source, creator, oneness, universal consciousness, it gets to experience itself through you, me, all the different perspectives of all the different humans. We're just all creating all this data from our experience, feeding it back to consciousness. And sometimes we've got to feel the really, really shit places in order to be able to create the opposite of that, duality of that, which is love, joy, abundance, happiness. You can't get one without the other. There can't be darkness without light. There can't be light without darkness. It's all serving us. It's all serving that soul expansion. It's all serving the oneness and the expansion of consciousness. We're not a victim to anything. We've agreed to it all. It's an insane time to be alive. And it's an absolute pleasure with that perspective to be able to feel emotions, even the shitty ones. We came here to feel. We came here to experience the emotions. So if something's happening in your world that's kind of forcing you to experience something, don't hide from it. Allow it. Allow it in. When you allow it in and you really allow yourself to go there, the emotion transmutes. It moves, it shifts, it comes out of your energetic body, and then you will stop creating more of the same in your world. Trust me, I know, because I've done enough of this for myself and lots of people in my world as well. So with that, I'm going to leave you there. I will speak to you soon. I feel like I've just like dumped a load of stuff, but there's just been so much that I've learned this year, and there's probably loads more that I'm going to just come and dump on you. But yeah, thank you for listening, sending you love, and join me in my Facebook group for the weekly transmissions, and I'll pop the link on here as well for the 28th of December too, which will be amazing. See you there. Love you lots.